If you want to improve your English pronunciation, speak clearly, and sound like a native speaker, watch this lesson. Hello, my name is Maddie from POC English, and in this lesson we're going to talk about 10 amazing English pronunciation exercises that you can use to take your pronunciation to the next level. Now, before we start, I have a gift for you. Because you're watching this video and maybe you are my YouTube subscriber, you can download my Ultimate English book for free. This book has about 400 pages. What does it have? All the lesson summaries of all of my YouTube videos. You can download this book for free, have the summary of all of my videos with the link to the video. Plus, you have note and review sheets. And it is entirely free for my YouTube subscribers and those who are watching this video. To download, simply click on the link above my head. Let's start with the first one, learning word stress. What is word stress and why do we need it? The beauty of English is that it is not a flat language. It has a melody. Now, this melody and this rhythm at the word scale is called word stress, and at the sentence scale is called intonation that we will talk about. But first, what is word stress and how can we learn it? Look at this word. Now, this word has 3 syllables. Politics. If there is stress on one syllable in a word, that means you have to emphasize that syllable. So, if stress is on the first syllable, you should say the first syllable louder than the other 2. If it's on the second, you do it on the second one. If it's on the third, you read the third syllable louder than the first and second. Now, let me show you. In this word, stress is on the first syllable. So I should say politics. Politics. Repeat after me. Politics. Now say it faster. Politics. 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 You see, on the first syllable, I say it louder. Politics. Now look at this one. Political. 4 syllables. Where's the stress? Stress is on the second syllable. So the second syllable should be read louder than the others. Okay? So you should say political. Political. Repeat with me. Political. Now say it faster. Political. 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 You see, politics, political. Now look at this one. This one also has 4 syllables. So politician. Politician. Now, where's the stress? The stress is on the third syllable. So politician. Politician. Repeat after me. Politician. Faster. Politician. 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 You see, that is word stress. Now let's read the 3 of these words again together. Politics. Political, politician. Politics, political, politician. That was word stress. But hey, there are like a million words in the English language. How can we learn or how can we find out where the stress on each word is? You can use a dictionary to do that. Let me show you. To check word stress, you need an online dictionary. Now, I really recommend Cambridge Dictionary. Well, you can find this dictionary at this address, dictionary.cambridge.org. Now, how can we use this? Let's say I want to look up the word competitive. Now, I want to see how to pronounce this word and how many syllables does it have. So, here's the word. I could simply play the audio in both accents. For instance, in the British accent, we have
competitive.
And for the American accent, we have
competitive.
Okay. Now, it's competitive. So the stress is on, I want to make sure. So let's take a look at the phonetics, right? Now, look at here. How many syllables can you see? 1, which is cum. 2, which is pit. 3, which is a. And 4, which is tif. Now, where is the stress? You see this little apostrophe here? That little teeny tiny apostrophe is stress. You can also see it here in the British pronunciation. That little apostrophe is word stress. Now, when you see that apostrophe, it means the next syllable is stressed. So as you can see, the apostrophe is before pet, which means this syllable, the second syllable, is stressed, and you should say competitive, 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 competitive. Listen again.
competitive,
Competitive, right? For the British,
competitive,
competitive. The stress is on the second syllable, right? Now, one thing you need to be careful about is that some words have a different stress in the American accent compared with the British accent. So maybe in the British accent, stress is on one syllable. In the American accent, it's on another syllable. For example, the word, how do you read this? Should I say advertisement, or should I say advertisement on the second syllable, or should I say advertisement? Or perhaps on the fourth syllable, advertisement. Well, let's check the dictionary. Once again, go to dictionary.cambridge.org, and this time we want to look up this word, advertisement, and we want to know how to pronounce this. Well, again, look at the phonetics, right? Let's see where the word stress is. Now we know that we should look for an apostrophe. So here is the word stress, and when we see the apostrophe, the next syllable should be stressed. So it's ties. Advertisement. Oh wait, the stress is different here. You see, for the UK pronunciation, the stress is before V. It's before the second syllable. So it's advertisement. So as you can see, the British pronunciation is
advertisement,
and the American one is
advertisement.
So they are different. Enough with the word stress. As I said, the English language has rhythm at word scale, which is called word stress, and at sentence scale, which is called intonation. Now, what is intonation? Intonation is the melody of your spoken English. It is the rises and falls in your tone of voice as you speak. So perhaps sometimes you come down and sometimes you go up and sometimes you come down and go up. This is your intonation. There are three main patterns of intonation in the English language. One of them is falling intonation, which means as you get to the end of the sentence, your tone of voice goes down, it decreases. For example, look at this. I have to work. I have to work. I have to work. My tone of voice goes down. I don't say I have to work. No, I say I have to work. I go down. I have to work. When do we use this falling intonation? We use it when something is certain. I have to work. It means I'm definitely going to work. That is for sure. Or when something is finished and over. For example, I couldn't find it. Look at the sentence. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it. It means I tried to find it. I searched, but eventually I couldn't find it. It's over. It's finished. So for something which is certain or something which is finished. Another pattern of intonation is rising intonation. That means your tone of voice goes higher at the end of the sentence. Now, where do we use rising intonation? In yes/no questions. For example, is he sad? Listen. Is he sad? Is he sad? Is she our doctor? Is she our doctor? Is she our doctor? So you see, your tone of voice goes higher at the end of the sentence. Now look at these two. She's our doctor. She's our doctor. Falling intonation. Is she our doctor? Is she our doctor? Rising intonation. Now there is a third pattern of intonation which is called the fall rise. It means first your tone of voice goes down, then it comes up again. When do we use it? When our sentence is not complete yet and we want to continue. For example, I don't play tennis, but I like watching it. Listen, I don't play tennis, but I like watching it. I don't play tennis. I come down and then I go up. This is the fall rise intonation. Or look at this one. I'm tired, But let's go out and have some fun. I'm tired, but let's go out and have some fun. These are the three main patterns of intonation. If you want to learn more about intonation, I made a video about that, explaining all the details of intonation and how to improve it. Watch the video after this one. Now that we have learned about word stress and intonation, it is time to learn about a very, very useful technique that can improve your pronunciation, accent, and the clarity of your speech. What is it? It is called speech shadowing or the imitation technique. What does it mean? Oh, what a fancy name. Don't worry, it's very easy and very fun. Speech shadowing or imitation technique is basically listening and repeating after someone. Now, in the imitation technique, there are 3 steps. Step 1 is about identifying what accent you are interested in. Which accent do you like more? American accent or British accent? Which one do you want to practice? And which one would you like to have? Now, here's a question sometimes students ask. Which one is better? Should I have an American accent? Is it better to have a British accent? If I take the IELTS test with a British accent, will I get a higher mark? If I have an American accent, would I get a higher mark in the TOEFL exam? The answer to all of these questions is no. There is no better accent. Each accent is good. You just have to pick one. It's a matter of personal preference. Which one do you like? Choose the one you like. Choose the one you feel more comfortable with. And that is your accent. Okay, that is step 1. I understood which accent I want to have. Step 2 is to find a role model. In the speech shadowing technique, you need to have a role model. Now, what do I mean by role model? Somebody whose accent and whose pronunciation is appealing to you. You like it. For example, when you listen to them, you enjoy. It's so clear that you would like to use them as your role model and then practice speaking English with them. Practice improving your pronunciation with them. And you would like to have an accent similar to that person. For example, I'm a fan of American accent, so Barack Obama is a very good example, former president of the United States. He has a very clear speech. Very easy to understand what he says. His accent is brilliant.
As you've seen by now, this isn't a normal convention. It's not a normal time. So tonight I want to talk as plainly as I can about the stakes in this election.
Or another person I really like with an American accent is Angelina Jolie. Her accent is also very beautiful and clear.
It sets out our right to freedom and equality and justice, regardless of sex, race, language, religion, or social standing.
But if you like British accent, if you want to improve your British accent and British pronunciation, you could go with someone who has a British accent like Chef Ramsay.
To get rid of the nerves, I just started thinking about recipes and dishes and how do I get through this 3.8k swim.
Or perhaps if you are a fan of Australian accent, who's better than Thor, God of Thunder? We're talking about Chris Hemsworth.
You're absolutely crushing it at everything you do, from your job to maintaining a social life to pursuing your passion projects. You are killing it. Ignore anyone who tells you otherwise, because you're amazing. The only thing more beautiful than your smile is your personality.
Okay, so we know what accent we are interested in, and we have selected a role model whose accent is good and whose pronunciation is appealing to us. What is the third step? Shadow. What does it mean? You should select a video. You could search on YouTube, find a video of your role model. For example, I don't know, a video of Barack Obama giving a speech. Then you play the video, listen carefully. Pause after each sentence, repeat. Play, listen, pause, repeat. Play, listen, pause, repeat. Play, listen, pause, repeat. That is the process. Step 1, listen and read.
All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. That is the message of the UN Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Step 2, listen, pause, and repeat.
All human beings are born free.
All human beings are born free
and equal
and equal
in dignity and rights.
in dignity and rights.
That is the message of the UN Universal Declaration
There is the message of the UN Universal Declaration
of Human Rights.
of Human Rights. Step 3. Listen and repeat without pausing.
All human
All
beings
human
are born
beings
free and
are born
equal
free
in
and equal
dignity and
in
rights.
dignity and rights.
That is the message of the
There is the
UN
message
Universal
of the
Declaration
UN
of Human
Universal
Rights.
Declaration of Human
The
Rights.
Declaration is a guide to the rights
Declaration
each
is
of
a
us
guide. That is speech shadowing or the imitation technique. If you want to learn more about this technique and if you want to do it together with me, watch this video. What is the fourth way of improving your accent and pronunciation? Well, listening to podcasts. Listening is closely linked to speaking. So the more you listen, the better you can speak. Not just the better you can speak, but the better you can sound. So a very good way of improving your pronunciation is to listen a lot. And what is better than listening to podcasts, right? Now, what kind of podcasts do I have to listen to? Well, that depends. What accent do you like? American accent or British accent? If you are a fan of British accent, if you want to improve your British accent, you can listen to BBC Learning English podcasts, also known as BBC 6-Minute English. This podcast is created by BBC. They have a department for teaching English, and it's called BBC Learning English. So if you search on Google, you can find the website. Go to the website. There are lots of podcasts you can select, you can listen to, and that can dramatically level up not just your listening skill, but also your pronunciation. Remember, BBC 6-Minute English podcasts are in British accent. But what about American podcasts? That is when VOA comes into play. Now, VOA stands for Voice of America. So they have an American accent. Now again, VOA has a department for teaching the English language, which is called VOA Learning English. Search it on Google. Google it and you will find the website. Go to the website. You will see all their podcasts. So you can listen to their podcast, and not only will you improve your listening, but also your pronunciation and your beautiful American accent. Now, what is the best way of listening to a podcast? That is a very important question, and you will find the answer to that in this video. One very good way of improving your English pronunciation is to record your own voice. Now, this is going to be very effective if you have never tried it. Why? It is a fact that when we speak, we hear our own voice in a different way. I used to do this in my classes. I used to ask students to talk, and then I would record their voices and
play it back to the whole class, and then they would be embarrassed and ashamed.
why? Because they sounded different on the audio than they sounded in their heads. So maybe you think your pronunciation is very good when you are speaking, but if you listen to yourself, you will understand what you are pronouncing mistakenly. I think the main reason why you can't study English is because you don't practice enough. I think reason one you can't study is you speak not enough. Who was that? So, by listening to your own voice, you will be able to see which words you are mispronouncing. This alone could be very helpful, but you could also match it with another exercise. For example, it could be part of your speech shadowing exercise. As you pause and repeat after your role model, you could record your own voice. Then, you could play your role model's video and you could play your own voice and then compare and see which parts am I doing wrong or different. Another advantage of this exercise is that you can send your recorded voice to your friends or to your teacher and ask for feedback. It can be very good. Now, let me show you another way in which you can practice your pronunciation online. For that, you can use Google. Go to Google and search for definition. The dictionary opens, you can look up the word you want, and We're not going to look at the definition and the synonyms or whether it's informal or formal. No, this is not the information we are looking for. What we're looking for is this blue button. Click,
crime,
and you hear the pronunciation. Now, click on Learn to Pronounce. This is the part with which you can practice your pronunciation. You see, crime. Okay? You play,
Crime.
and you also see the movement of the lips.
Crime.
Now, what you need to do is to click Practice, crime. See? Good job. However, if you mispronounce the word, this is what will happen. Creme. You see? Instead of creme, I should say cry. All right. Thanks for the tip. Crime. Good job. You can also slow down the pronunciation
Crime. Crime.
or speed it up.
Crime.
You can also change the accent.
Crime.
But pay attention, when you put it on British pronunciation, you don't have the option of practice anymore. The practice is only active for the American pronunciation. A very fun way of practicing your English pronunciation is by saying tongue twisters. Now, tongue twisters are sentences which are deliberately designed to be difficult to read and pronounce. For example, look at this sentence. This is a beginner level tongue twister. She sees cheese. Say it fast and say it 3 times. She sees cheese, she sees cheese, she sees cheese. You see, it can get tricky. Say it 5 times. That could get tricky. Now, look at this one. Red lorry, yellow lorry. Red lorry, yellow lorry. Red lorry, yellow lorry. That's a tongue twister. Or look at this one. Fred fed Ted bread and Ted fed Fred bread. Fred fed Ted bread and Ted fed Fred bread. Or look at this one. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if the woodchuck could chuck wood? Now say it fast. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if the woodchuck could chuck wood? By practicing tongue twisters, not only will you have fun, you will also improve your pronunciation. Another way in which you can improve your pronunciation is by learning words which are commonly mispronounced. Now, in the English language, there are many words that have challenging pronunciation. Some of these words are called homophones. What are homophones? Homophones are words with the exact same pronunciation, but 2 different spellings and 2 different meanings. For example, right, right. They are pronounced in the same way. Now, if I tell you right, what will you do? Would you say, correct? Or would you say, oh, okay, tell me. So right means correct, but it can also mean to write something down. Another one is flower and flower. They are pronounced in the exact same way in the American accent, but they have 2 different meanings. So if I ask you to buy flour, what will you buy? And look at these 2 words, accept and accept. Well, these are totally different, right? But they are pronounced in the same way, accept. Apart from homophones, another thing that can be challenging, that could make it difficult to understand native speakers, are contractions. What are contractions or contracted forms? Contractions are the shorter form of a longer sentence. For example, the contracted form of going to is gonna. I am going to travel. I'm gonna travel. Instead of have got to, you can say gotta. I have got to finish my homework. I gotta finish my homework. Instead of should have, you could say shoulda. Shoulda. I should have called you. I shoulda called you. I shoulda called you. To learn more about contractions and contracted forms, you can watch this video. The third thing that can be very challenging in the English pronunciation are silent letters. Now, there are some words with some letters which are silent. You should not read them. For example, look at this word. This is knee, but you should read it knee. Why? Or this one, knock, but you should read it knock. Or look at this one, bridge. D is silent. Why isn't it bridge? No, it's bridge. D is silent. There are many words with silent letters in the English language, and if you want to learn more, watch this lesson. And finally, the final part of this lesson. Now, before I finish the lesson, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you have enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. There are some words with challenging pronunciation. For example, how do you read this? Well, you could say library. You could also say library. Library, library. I went to the library. I went to the library. Or this one, you can say clothes. Or you could say clothes. Clothes, clothes. Or look at this one. Colonel. No, it's colonel. Colonel. And that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Don't forget to practice. See ya.